What's up, adventurers? My name is Platinum Phoenix, and welcome back to Pikmin 2. Last time, we actually had a pretty easy time in the Snagrid Hole, which is the second to last dungeon in the Awakening Woods. And this time, we're going to be trying to finish up the Awakening Woods by completing the final dungeon here. But first, I want to rearrange my Pikmin numbers. 20 is fine. Oh, 30 white Pikmin, huh? Let's go down to 20 white Pikmin. And then we can fill out the rest of our numbers with reds. Because reds are actually semi-useful for this dungeon. And before we actually go into the next dungeon, I want to come up here and try to get a few more of the red spicy sprays. And while we're doing that, I want to talk about the Awakening Woods, because it's actually kind of interesting. The Awakening Woods is actually based off of the Forest of Hope from the first game. And if I put the two maps side by side one another on screen right now, you can actually see how they arrange. And actually, where these two burgeoning spiderworts are is where you would have been the landing site for the Forest of Hope in the first game. I believe you land like right here in the first game, and then the different onions land all around, and then there would have been a gate here and a gate over there. Like there is in this game. But there's a bunch of other things that are very similar in this game as the first game. Like last episode where we fought the burrowing Snagrid in front of the Snagrid Hole. That is the same exact spot that you fight the burrowing Snagrid as a boss fight in the first game. It's the exact same location, and it makes sense that they put the burrowing Snagrid there to fight. That gives us our 10th red spray. That's very nice. And with that being said, I think everyone's a flower, actually, so I don't need to get any more flowers. So I think we're just going to straight up head toward the dungeon. And I think instead of trying to make everyone walk up there, I'm just going to throw them all up here, because it's a lot easier. We could get a couple more purple sprays, or a purple spray, before heading into the dungeon, but I don't really find a need to do so. So let's go ahead and head on in. So, you have at last reached the higher ground. Congratulations are in order. The ship is apparently Obi-Wan Kenobi. I have the high ground! What is this? My seismic sensors are picking up tremors deep below. What force is at work in the depths of the planet? Well, to answer that, we have to go in. So this is the Bulblax Kingdom with fire and electric hazards. Hence all the red and yellow Pikmin I am bringing. And with our 100 Pikmin, let's go ahead and head inside. Also, it should not be a surprise that a place called the Bulblax Kingdom is the home of a lot of different Bulborbs and Bulblaxes. As you can see, we're gonna walk over here and kind of disband so I can grab my purples and not just instantly die here. Yes, let's take all 20 of you and take out this orange Bulborb. Thank you. That gets us our first treasure of the dungeon. And then we can take out these two. Thankfully, without waking up that orange Bulborb, because I want to be able to stun him. Thank you. That worked out perfectly, actually. And I think Louie, you are just going to handle the cleanup. Grab all these guys, grab this guy, grab the treasure, and grab all of this guy. And I don't actually know what's over here, but let's go take a look. This is a crystal clover for 150 Pokos, getting us halfway to our goal. And I don't think there's actually any reason to go over here. No, there isn't. So, instead of doing that, let's go ahead and head to the next sub-level. I find no reason to kill the dwarf Bulblax. Alright, sub-level 2. And I think this sub-level is the first sub-level I want to take, not purples. I just said not purples. Get out of here. This is a new enemy. This is a fiery Dweevil. And is also our first Dweevil enemy in general. Dweevils like to carry things on their head and tend to burst out into their elements once killed. Hence why I'm using red Pikmin for this. The other reason I'm using red Pikmin is there's just a lot of fire geysers here. And also, another thing about the Dweevils is that you want to throw and hit them on the heads in order to actually take them out. Because if your Pikmin are just running after them, they're not actually doing any damage. But if they can grab onto them, they will actually deal them damage. And we'll go ahead and, I guess, put 3 of you onto there. And then what we need to do here is throw a bunch of red Pikmin up here. I'm just going to throw all of them in case they decide to get stuck. Go into this middle part, and then we just need to guide them around. And then I'm going to release them using X. I said I'm going to release you with X. And the rest of you can just run down here with me, because I think that's all that's on the sub-level. Just 2 Dweevils, a treasure, and a bunch of fire geysers. And we'll let Louie just collect everyone else. Alright, what is this stone? What is this aquamarine is what it looks like. Oh, it's a tear stone, which makes sense for an aquamarine. And is valued at 150 Pokos. And we have 82 and 17. Where's the last Pikmin? There you are. And with that, on to the next sub-level. And we may have had one of the hardest sub-levels in the game in the Snackert Hall last episode, but we might have one of the easiest ones in this, dungeon. Guys, please. I need to separate you. I want to take... You guys are horrible at this. I want to take... Sure, I'm taking the purples because we have new enemies here. These are withering blowhogs, and what will happen is that the withering blowhogs will blow on your Pikmin and make the flowers on their head wither. But they can't actually kill Pikmin, so they aren't actually a danger to you. They... Literally nothing on this sub-level can kill your Pikmin. They can just... The term I was about to use is deflower, but I don't know if I like that term. They can basically unflower your Pikmin and make it so that you have to re-find nectar in order to get your Pikmin back to the flowered state. But we need to get this treasure undug, and there's, I believe, only 3 of the withering blowhogs, so we don't actually need to worry about that anymore. We can worry about these sheer grubs, even though they're female sheer grubs and cannot hurt us. And what is this shell? This is an Olimar Knight shell. Praise Lord Olimar Knight for 40 Pokos. You guys can take those. And we have a violet, or not a violet, I am blanking on the name. We have a white candy pop bud, which I'm going to use reds for, because I brought 40 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be 5. It is not. I cannot count. Nope, not throw. Luck, please. And that should get us back up to... I believe we had 30, so we have now 35 white Pikmin. And I saw an egg over here, so we're going to try to flower the Pikmin that lost their flowers, as well as these new white Pikmin. Or not. That is definitely not nectar. This is actually what I was looking for last episode at the end of the staggered hole. The purple drop you see contains refined ultra bitter extract or essence. 1 drop contains 1 dose. Use it on hostile creatures. Approach the creatures and press the up to spray. Have you tried it yet? Yes, we have. Last episode on the boss, actually. It was very effective. But all we have to do is walk up to it and drink it. And for some reason, that gives us a dose of it. Don't ask me why. But I think that's all that's here. So on to sub-level 4. And once again, sub-level 4, we have more electricity. Everyone's favorite thing to deal with. And we actually have several new enemies, which is not you, actually. I just want to take the yellows, not the whites. We're going to take the yellows because the yellows are the most important on this sub-level for several reasons. The first being that we need to destroy these wires in order to get past with any other Pikmin type. We'll deal with that violet candy pop bud later, but we have a new enemy here. This is an anode beetle, as well as an iridescent glint beetle, apparently. We'll deal with the iridescent glint beetle actually now, because the iridescent glint beetle is like the iridescent flint beetle, except it has more, I guess, useful stuff in it. In this case, it has a treasure. But getting back to the anode beetles, these beetles require 2 to do anything. So once it's down to 1 beetle, they are literally useless and cannot hurt you. But what they do is when there are 2 of them, they will send an electric shock or an electric stream between the 2 of them. And anything hit by the electric stream that is not a yellow Pikmin will die instantly. But if you can hit the anode beetle on the back directly, then they get flipped over and are very harmless. So we are just going to try to take out this anode beetle so that the other one is harmless. And I'm worried because I know there's something on this floor that hasn't appeared yet. But I'm going to take out this other anode beetle very quickly, and I think that's all the anode beetles. So what I'm going to do now is grab everyone, and we are going to throw red Pikmin into here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That should be 5. Again, if I can count. Yes, it is. Nope, I want to pluck. We want to get more purple Pikmin, because purple Pikmin are very valuable to us. And I think I'm going to use yellows for this, for a reason I'll explain later. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Apparently didn't want to accept the yellows. 4, 5. And then we are going to try to hit that honey wisp in order to give us the nectar we need to flower the rest of these Pikmin. And then we can go around and start getting our treasure. Where is the honey wisp? There's the honey wisp. Thank you, honey wisp. Apparently all the purples decided to lag. That's upsetting. What do we need to do now? I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna come over here, disengage everyone, and have Olimar grab all of these purples. All 30 of them. Because if we go over here, I'm going to suspect that the thing I'm looking for is right over here. Yep, there it is! This is a Wollywog, a regular Wollywog, which is weird that they introduced the yellow Wollywog before the regular one. It works the exact same way as a yellow Wollywog, except these have less health, meaning that they're easier to defeat. This one also has a treasure inside of it, so you need to defeat it in order to get all the treasures. And now I can have Louie here grab all the other Pikmin, and we're just going to swarm everything in order to pick up the rest of the Pikmin. Or the rest of the enemies here. I don't believe there's anything in there, so I'm just going to walk back with Olimar. And our crystal, our hunk of crystal, is not called a hunk of crystal, but rather the Crystal King for 110 Pokos. And then our coin, which looks like money of some type. It looks like a Japanese coin of some type, but I don't know where, which is probably why it's called Unknown Merit. And a value of 100 Pokos. So how does that thing, which I'm pretty sure is literal money, have the same value as a bottle cap? Make it make sense, Nintendo. But we're just waiting for these last two enemies to get back, and then we go down to the next sub-level. We have 73, they have 27, which is 100. So we're good to go. On to sub-level 5. So going into sub-level 5, this is probably a good time to mention that there's actually 5 different hazards that can appear in a dungeon. Even though the screen going into each of the dungeons only shows 4 different things. There could be fire, there could be water, there could be electricity, and there could be poison. But the 5th thing that there can be is if we walk around just a little bit, not enemies. I'm actually going to split up here and take my purples, all 30 of them, and try to take out some of these dwarf Bulborbs before they become a problem. Because looking around for... I'm gonna hide in this corner. And if we walk around over here, maybe, take out this one. The last hazard that can appear in a dungeon is that. That is an explosion. And explosions have no Pikmin that are immune to them. So, you want to be very careful, and it's not on any title screen if there are explosions in a dungeon. So you have to be very careful throughout dungeons, especially in the later half of the game, because they'll kind of just drop on you out of nowhere, like that. Luckily they do give you a decent amount of time to escape, so it's not, like, super dangerous. I say as another one drops on me. I want to say there's only 4 in this first area. Nice drop egg. I wasn't expecting that either. Let's go ahead and take out this orange Bulborb. Guys. It killed 6 of my purples. That's upsetting. I didn't even need to go over here, which is even worse. So I guess we'll just have you guys carry that back, because that's what we get for killing it. We need to Harvest remains. And I want to say that's probably going to be here. Yeah, there's the last bomb. So now I'm going to have Louie run around and pick everything up. Because we've ran into all the bombs, so we don't actually have to worry about the bombs anymore. And we still need to pick up that last treasure that's over here. Which is somewhere. Where is the last treasure? Oh, there it is. Go ahead and have everyone dig that up. And I'm actually going to run over here to try to get some more of these purples leaved. And is everyone with me still? It looks like everyone's still with me, so we'll just head this way. And what is this? What looks like a seed called? An anxious sprout. Yeah, I'm an anxious sprout too after what that orange Bulblax did to me. Got 50 Pokos for that one. And I believe that is everything for this sub-level, so let's go ahead and head to the second to last sub-level, sub-level 6. Alright, sub-level 6, we got red candy pop bud we don't need, we got purple candy pop bud, which we are going to use. Just trying to eat my Pikmin. But I think first off, no matter what we do, we need to start with the red Pikmin. So go ahead and grab my 30 red Pikmin, and we are going to break that geyser. And I'm actually going to have Louie take my purples, all 24 of them, and we're going to run over here because we have a lot of enemies to deal with. Specifically, can we not do that? Did it just deflowered my Pikmin. What the hell? Try to stun this fiery Weevil and run. Hit that one, hit this one. And next up, we don't want to do that. We want to take out this orange Bulblax before it can do anything, get another treasure, and then take out this Weevil before it can do anything. And then I think I'm going to have Olimar come in with everyone and just kind of try to clean up, because there's a lot of stuff here that just needs cleaned up before we move forward. Clean that up, clean that up, clean that up. Get these guys. And I don't think there's anything over here. Oh, there's mites and a bomb. Is the bomb gonna kill the mites? Oh my god, it does. Mites are a new type of enemy. Basically, they usually live in eggs, and when you break over an egg, there's like a 5% chance they come out. But what they will do is they will scare your Pikmin into a frenzy, and you have to whistle your Pikmin. The only type that it doesn't scare is the purple Pikmin, which is why purples are the best for breaking eggs. But this treasure is called an Eternal Emerald Eye for 150 Pokos. And killing all of those mites actually gave us a lot of nectar that we are going to use. But not quite yet. It also gives us a lot of bodies that we can bring back, but again, not quite yet. I want to throw one off to the side to stun it, because hitting the ground is what stuns them, more effectively at least. And then again, stun this guy and just take him out. And I think there's definitely another treasure somewhere around here, but I don't exactly know where. There's the exit, so I'm just gonna hang out. I think we're just gonna hang out here with the purples, and Olimar can deal with everything else. We are going to use this violet candy pop bud with the yellows. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to get me 5 more purples, which will be helpful in the boss fight next sub-level. But also, I'm not super worried about the boss fight next sub-level. Because there is a very easy strategy to deal with it. There is one more treasure somewhere, I just don't know where. So what I'm going to do first is actually send a couple of reds to break both of these geysers so we can get that nectar and stuff. And then all of you guys can deal with these enemies while we search around a little bit. Doesn't seem to be anything here except drop egg. We got those tactical drop eggs. And we got a skull here with a bomb. So we are going to just bring these Pikmin, and actually, I think, nope, suicidal Pikmin. You Red, can you break that? And then Olimar, I think I'm gonna have, or Louis, I'm gonna have you take these purples this way, so we can deal with the mites and everything as well. But Olimar, I think you have enough Pikmin to deal with this. We've already dealt with the bomb, so we don't have to worry about that. And in fact, we're going to see if we have enough Pikmin here. We do, so they're going to carry that back, and I'm going to run back to base to grab the rest of the Pikmin. And then once all the Pikmin are back, we will... Actually, I'm going to use these Pikmin to first grab the purple and throw it so that I have all flowers. That way I can use the flowers to grab all of the mites, because I want the mites to give me more Pokos, just so I have an excess. And we're just gonna wait for them to all get back here. Alright, we got what looks like a prehistoric maybe monkey skull? A colossal skull! Which makes sense if a leaf, or not a leaf, if a regular feather is the size of a leviathan to Olimar, it stands to reason that a normal sized skull would also be ginormous to him. So we grab them and Louis, and we are just gonna have a field day with this nectar. How many do we actually need for this? It looks like a good number, but that bomb actually helped us a lot there. And we should have full flowers for this. So, on to the final sub-level for us. And I actually have an amazing strategy for this final boss. For the Bulblax Kingdom. So, it actually sets us in a decently good spot for this. First off, I want to separate and grab reds just to break these geysers. And if you have sharp eyes, you might see a couple more eyes. That is our boss, and if you know about the Pikmin games, you know who that is. But I want to grab all of my purples, all 30 of them, so we'll leave that white alone. And we are going to use our first instance of a red spray for this. Astounding. The heads on the Pikmin are glowing, and they seem extremely agitated. The Ultra Spicy Spray appears to increase Pikmin speed and attack power. What a discovery. Alright, ready to see this boss disappear before it gets to fight? We're just going to throw directly at its eyes. And this is Emperor Bulblax. Or I should say, that was Emperor Bulblax. If you throw directly at its eyes with any number of purple Pikmin with the Ultra Spicy Spray on, they obliterate him. He literally did not stand a chance. He got up and looked at me and then died. My initial reports indicate that the glint the giant Bulblax spat out some sort of object. It looks fascinating, but it's drenched in that creature's internal juices. Disgusting. Oh, don't roll your eyes at me. I'll store it for you. You don't really need to use the ultra spicy spray for this. I just find it more reliable to take them out instantly by doing that, which is why I prefer to use the ultra spicy spray. Plus, we had 10 of the things, and we still have time after this dungeon to get more of them. So, yeah, it's not like we're hurting for them or anything. But by beating Emperor Bulblax, we get 100 Pokos and the Forged Courage. This material has perplexing properties. I will try fusing it with the spare spacesuit. Processing complete. Success. Behold my latest invention, the Scorch Guard. Thanks to the heat-resistant alloy, the suit is now impervious to fire. Yeah, so what he was just saying is that now our spacesuits are immune to fire, which is very good. I'm gonna leave Louie there with all of those Pikmin, because the only Pikmin I need for this are the red Pikmin. So we are immediately gonna separate and take only reds. I said only reds. Okay. These white Pikmin apparently don't know what red is. Which, no, you come with me. You do not. You come with me. I'll take my 30 reds. We need to come over here because if I take my model off, you can see that this is the first instance that we have treasure outside of the boss. And I want to just throw all 30 of the Pikmin up here. And you want to use reds for this. And run up here, which if you do this before you fight the boss, which you technically can, it's incredibly difficult to get up here without being burned. So take that as you will. And we want to just put as many reds on here as possible to destroy these geysers and to get this treasure back. And I think what we're going to do is just follow the red Pikmin back, pick up all these Pikmin, and wait for it to get back. Alright, what do we got here? A gyroid bust for 250 Pokos. That is a great amount. And that's all the treasure here, so let's go ahead and exit the dungeon. We lost 6 Pikmin, all of them being purple, unfortunately. But we did get 13,500, or not 13,000, 1,358. If we got 13,000, that would be amazing. But I don't even think there's that much, like, in, like, most of the game. So we're going to go ahead and save. We got all 10 treasures from this dungeon. And that is all there is to the Awakening Woods. Our Awakening Wood. Which is an awful name, by the way. So I think what we were going to do after we are 60% of the debt recovered, I think I'm just going to use the rest of this day to get more sprays as well as farm more Pikmin. So I don't really feel a need to show all that, so I think I'm just going to skip ahead until we get to the end of day. Alright, well, we were only able to get one more purple spray, but I think, all in all, it was a pretty good day. Time to blast off! Away from this yellow wollywog that doesn't belong here! And let's see about today's report. Alright, what do we got? Funds earned a lot is the answer. We got almost 3,000 Pokos today, which is amazing. And actually, the only type of Pikmin we went down on, I may have wanted to phrase that better, but the blue Pikmin. We only lost 2 blue Pikmin. We went up 9 purples, 20 whites, like 9 yellows, and 4 reds. We didn't gain a ton of Pikmin, but that wasn't the goal of today. You got mail! Olimar! You're my hero! You've erased half of our debt! Still, things have become a bit dangerous, so I'm going into hiding. Focus on work! And don't slack off! But with that, I think we're gonna call this an episode. So, I hope that everyone enjoyed watching. If you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Next time, I think it's about time we revisit the Valley of Repose, since it's been a good, 7-ish days since we've been there. But until then, happy adventuring!